Okay guys, this webinar is designed to try and help you with page 3 of your concept sketching. This part is to take a formulation of your ideas from pages 1 and 2 and to start trying to graphically represent how you want to try and complete this course. In the first part of this, we would ask you that you go through our Firefly site. As you can see on the screen, it's just showing you how to access your coursework section. So you go through the Technology and Design homepage, scroll down, select GCSE Technology Design and click the Coursework tab. In here you will see where you have your coursework guidance sheet. This is everything that will help you with page 1, page 2 and then also the rest of your entire folder, but I want to just pause slightly here on page 3. On the page 3 section, it clearly details everything that you should be doing regarding the style of sketch, right the way through to the highlights of materials in blue and referencing in red, for example. As you scroll on further down the page, you'll see different uses of templates. You'll see some page 3 sketches, as you can see on the screen here, but on down you'll see an amplification of the mark scheme. Just want to draw your attention to the big marks on the right hand side of this particular scheme where you're looking at potentially 15 marks for a top mark effort here. That's particularly poignant based on the fact that your previous 2 sections are significantly less than that. Let's now look at page 3 in its entirety. The blank page represents exactly what the current outcome of your practical product is. This is the first time the moderator, the marker, the examiner gets to actually see your thought process behind the designing and innovation part of your project. The next few pictures here are going to try and detail some advice for you regarding that. So, what's required? 3 main images that are innovative and creative that can stem from your research but should be significantly different. The images should have callouts or zoom sections to highlight specific details or manufacture methods you intend on using. The main images must be drawn in either 2-point perspective or isometric drawing to get you the high-end skill accreditation, but your callouts can also be drawn in 2D or oblique view to help better present those images for you. The key thing here on this particular page is innovation and creativity. I'll say it now, but I'll explain it later on, but we don't want any boxes at this stage. This is free cloud thinking, this is free form thinking, this is a focus on idea and creativity. Coming up now, we're going to look at annotation. The annotation side of this, you must reference your research throughout in terms of style, size, manufacture method or target market group. Examples of how to do this can be found on your coursework guidance sheet, but you must cover all factors throughout the page. This is to show that you have a depth of understanding regarding your specification that you've typed, but also that you're aware of how your designs are posed overall. Okay. Remember to focus on shape and form during your discussion as well. Okay, so key things to remember here. Do not show your final design here. There will be a chance to present that formally, and this can be done on one of the next pages in either page 4 or page 5. There should be some sort of resemblance to it, but this can be a primitive or simplistic version of it, so it means that you can really go to town on it in the next couple of pages. Do not draw boxes as potential solutions. You get marked on innovation and interesting projects, and boxes haven't been exciting since 1962 during the retro period. So please focus on trying to be creative and innovative with your designs. If you want to start by creating out your design, that's completely fine, but then you must relax those edges and make it a bit smoother in the sketch. On the screen now, you'll see a potential page layout suggestion where we're focusing on the 3 different design boxes, 3 call out or zoomed boxes, but also then with supporting annotation. Remember, font size should be down at font size 8 or 9 when we're actually typing the information across. Okay, so we've now focused on what we're after as examiners, markers, moderators or whatever, but how are we going to go about it? The advice suggests, after years of doing this, that you should sketch 3 or 4 different alternative designs on 3 or 4 different blank A4 pages. This means then later on, if you make a mistake, we can always go back and change the hard copy of your page 3 if we need to. You should clean up the drawings by removing smudge marks and the rest, and then you should also fine line them to highlight the detail and the clarity within your sketch. To then compose it onto page 3, You then scan or photograph the picture, put it into your PowerPoint, where you can then type and add your annotation. This means that that page can be edited at any stage. If you've made mistakes, and once we've reviewed it, instead of having to redo the whole page, you only have to maybe retype a box or rescan an image. So it's much better in terms of a marking student-teacher relationship type thing. Time allocation for this, I'm not going to lie, 4 hours is well and above what's required, but the detail of your sketch, because it's a thought process and because it's new, you're probably looking at 1 hour per sketch and an hour for the annotation, to try and make sure that you support everything that you're sketching by linking that back to your specification and also to your research. For those of you who are a little bit more advanced, maybe you want to do Adobe sketches, and I know that I've tried to train 2 or 3 boys. There is not a problem with that, and now obviously we're all working from home. If you have a correct stylus, you should be able to go about it in that way. But I would re-emphasize at this stage that your design should be equally as complicated as what we would have done in class, or what your teacher has taught you in class. You can then obviously export the picture as a PDF or as a JPEG and insert it into PowerPoint from there. We're not worried awfully about render at this stage, maybe a bit of shadal toning to try and emphasize or enhance one of the elements, but that's not a requirement, as this is not a colouring in GCSE. Okay, so on completion of the page, which should probably take you to after Easter, you should use your PowerPoint. You should go into File, Export, and export it as a PDF, just this one particular slide, and then you send this slide to your teacher. This way we confirm that you're keeping up to date with coursework deadlines, and that we're all ready to proceed then with pages 4 and 5, of which a further webinar will also ensue. Again, just to try and help you through a different medium so you're not bogged down reading all the text. So hopefully you find this particular part useful. We always like to try and focus some of our attention on exemplar material. So coming up here is an exemplar from another class from last year. And you'll see here quite clearly that he has articulated 3 different designs. However, I would say that they're a little bit boxy, so they're limited in terms of their differentiation between one another. But you can assess the sketches yourself. Are they of a complex nature? Do they show thickness lines? They're well presented, yes, and the ideas presented are complex. However, the simplistic sketches don't help the marks. There's no manufacture method clearly drawn or articulated. As I said, no thickness lines and no zoomed out or call out features to maybe explain the complicated mechanisms that are actually happening inside the sketch. Other elements as well that could be enhanced would be through the annotation section. There could be some sort of subheadings which would then actually help tie in different elements of your theory and provide structure overall. So that's some of the things that I would improve upon in this particular slide. But if you have a look carefully, he's got a very neatly presented set of sketches. He's got detailed annotation. He would be top box material, but there is further ways in which we can enhance that. And that's really what we're looking for you to try and do. Do better than what's gone before you and try and surpass it. Feel free to pause the video at any stage if you want to try and review what has been typed to maybe help you structure annotation, or even look at towards the different design styles that have been used in each of these. The next example coming up is somebody who is graphically okay, but has got fantastic annotation. The sketches in this next slide are focusing on straight lines. This is obviously the stationery box project that you guys did before Christmas, but you can see the thickness, the complexity, and also the different variations in presentation methods. This is something that we would encourage. The broken text with the subheadings definitely enhances the page overall. But ultimately what we would like to see here then is a little bit more free-form thinking in terms of the design itself. As we said, we're not looking for boxes. This is your chance to create and innovate and put something out there that hasn't actually been out there before in terms of the design market. And that's our real challenge at this stage. For further guidance, you should now read your CCB guidance material sheet, and then you should also now start sketching based off of your video that you've just watched now, but also then based off of your page 1 and page 2, which will help you form, hopefully, a solid page 3. Listen, these are difficult times, we all appreciate that, but this work is definitely something that you either do now or you do when you come back to school. But our plan as a department at this stage is that when you return to the college, potentially in September, that we're maybe ready to manufacture by Halloween, maybe before, if we can keep the work going. So that's the cherry on the top of the cake there. All right, thanks lads for taking the time to watch this. All the very best.